Guys, so we're going to learn a little bit more about credit today, and I tell you one thing, history seems to be the key word to success. Now, Jamal and Kat are going to break down what history means, and I think we might put this on both platforms, so I'll talk a little dog, and we'll try to make it make sense. And here's the thing, they've had a terrible history with being dog owners. And as far as like getting into the dog space, that first experience, it'll set you back. And just like in credit, if the first thing you buy is something that you can't afford, and you're like, I'll just deal with it later, or you got to start putting that car that you ain't made a payment on in somebody else's garage, so nobody gonna come take it, you made the wrong move. So stay tuned, people. So Jamal we literally were just walking through history and how important it is. Two things that are important to put on history: rental and auto. He said auto can still get you into some places and even get you loans and other stuff. Help them understand why that's better than using a credit card. Chime in whenever you want, okay?
Me personally, I feel like rental history is important because you want to be able to track where you stay. Credit report, let's say you're trying to go get a house or apartment. A lot of these people verify and want to see stability, and if you don't have that, that draws red flags. So people have to understand that this is a tool that's available to them. There's a couple websites where you can go to be able to have them track where you've been at, and that helps your credit score. Now, normally, sometimes they either report to 2 or 3 of the bureaus. I feel like anyone trying to make any type of moves in figuring out what they want to do with their credit or building themselves to move forward, they need to understand that history shows, positive history shows accountability and stability. So
accountability and stability is paying on time.
Paying on time. That's it. Paying on time. Auto helps because auto shows that you're mature, you know, that you're not going to default on a payment, even though it does happen to some people. But for the majority of the few that could get a grasp on it. And
does default mean you missed a payment or multiple payments?
It could be either or. I feel like it could be a payment or it could be multiple. But either way it goes, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because after that is repo, and after repo you have to come see us again, and we don't want you to have to see it. Yeah, we want to fix you, help you get to the next place, and you just go be free.
So Kat, if you were going to maybe break down we'll just say power and importance, or how to utilize authorized user programs, and what that means is, let's say your mama has got a credit card and you've never had a credit card, and you jump on with mom. Hopefully your mom pays her bills sometimes, but then he talked to us a little bit about utilization, meaning if their utilization is OD and you just start out, it could be a problem. The reason why I'm even doing this on the dog page, people, is because a couple things take place, and then I'll let her walk you through authorized users. You guys get in, and I've heard many people say, hey man, I'm gonna buy this dog with my sister, my brother, or my business partner. And I remember the first time somebody told me that about 2 years ago, I said, what business are you starting with the dog? And, well, I'm gonna start a breeding business. Doing what? Well, you know, get this money out here. I said, okay, it's never gonna work. And I wasn't wrong. Because we don't breed to make money, and I don't see the business. You go, look, I spend more money on these dogs than I'm ever gonna get out of them. And we don't even use our dogs to do what? So if someone said, hey Trev, I'd love to use your dog, and I'm using this as an example, Jamarcus will have the right to stud out Junior. That dog will not be under Fit Bully Kennels. So authorized, it looks like, oh, that's a dog from, that's Ego's son. It is. But I don't even want the paperwork to show that we are associated, because what I'm trying to do is so special and unique to me that I don't want any confusions. But by my authority per se, they get to do as they please because I've made it their dog. And let me be very clear, Junior was supposed to be Hunter's first pick. He's supposed to have the first pick male off of Maya's litter. And he had the right to choose what I chose. Because Jamarcus, if we're just being frank, does and has done a better job of bringing up his dog. So I came in the house and said, hey, you can split the stud feed with Junior, but Jamarcus keeps the dog. There was no debate, there was no discussion, that was it. we hope to get a dog. I said, you can pick another one out if you want. But he keeps Junior, just so we're clear. That was that. So if you say, hey, by my authority, because these are, it's kind of like it's my life's work. We can't mess this up. And even still, I don't want to be associated with buffoonery. And in this dog space, there's a lot of buffoonery. And it sounds like from what my man and, Kat had told us in the credit space, it's a lack of education on what to do and how to make good choices so that the outcome long-term actually improves your quality of life. I would imagine at 40 years old, if you've got bad credit, a bunch of bad bills, you still don't even have the power to put your family in a good position, can't get an apartment, can't get a home, still Ubering everywhere. Life's probably a little stressful for you. And from what it sounds like, credit could be the difference in where you're at and where you're going, and even more importantly, where you end up. Same thing with the dogs. I've said this before. I got Zara, I bred Eco. Those are my 2 top dogs. In 4 years of work, we've got 2 dogs that people appreciate, love, and know. I'm in no rush. 20 years of work. Power of authorized users. Is it a good choice? Who should you do it with and why?
Yeah, so an authorized user can be sticky. Even myself, whenever I first got into the credit industry, this is something, my mom has an 800 credit score. She has my entire life. It's something she worked on really hard whenever I was whenever I was a kid. She has an 800 credit score, and even she didn't actually understand the power of making your payment before your statement date, not your due date. You know what I mean? What utilization meant, that type of thing. So even when, I'm assuming, hey, my mom has an 800 credit score, I'm good to go. Let me add her on here, boost my score a little bit. Turns out she paid on the due date, not the statement date. So every month she was showing like 80-90% utilization. So she added me onto her card and my score tanked. And so consult somebody that understands it, or do your research on an authorized user before you just jump onto anybody's card, because they could have a perfect credit score, they could have really good credit, and they could still be utilizing their cards in the wrong way. Not in a bad way, just not in the way that our system works. And our system is so tedious, you know what I mean, as far as what's right and what's wrong. Just make sure you consult somebody, you know what I mean, before you hop onto a family member's card. Otherwise, buy one. You know what I mean? There's a lot of companies out here that sell authorized user trade lines. It's a really great way to get a jump start on your credit and put you in a good position as far as your utilization and payment history and things like that goes. And it's truly just a tool for you to be able to build. That's what it's there for. That's not going to give you the perfect file or the perfect score or anything along those lines, but it is going to give you a really good foundation to build off of.
There you go, people. And mind you, just like in the dog space, the most best dog men ain't on social media. So if you think about what we've done in the past, or under a year realistically, we've shown you the value of just loving your dog. If you guys have questions, I repeat, you want to reach out to them, because she's saying, hey, find some education. Guess what? They're the educators. My job is to help them fine tune and drop some keys. So you can click this key, that key, and this key, and have access to all the keys you need to learn. But I say the equalizer in life is truly education. Unfortunately, in our educational system, they don't teach you these things until it's too late. And when it's too late, then you feel bad. And when I say feel bad, affect, not effect, affect is a real thing. First time you get denied something because you didn't even know credit mattered, that's a bad feeling. And that feeling lingers with a lot of people. My mom is a prime example, in her 50s, still making poor choices and no credit. That's the truth. Myself, I had to learn very quickly, and the irony was, I didn't meet them until just a little bit ago, but I heard this authorized user thing, and I started hitting the homies up. I thought I had good credit. Jokers making 90, 200. They're like, oh man, sure, I got so much debt. So I said, oh, y'all got bad credit? So I just did it myself, and I was able to get my score up because I understand utilization, paying 3 to 4 times a month, definitely before the date, and sometimes the day before. But I just learned a few tricks that skyrocketed my credit, and then it plummeted again because we started running a business and I got to pay for everything. So you're just like, I'll deal with it later. Not the hardest thing in the world, but education, people. When I say it's key, I do mean it's key, and I assure you, just think about being 40 years old. If you're struggling now, still struggling to buy things, thinking that if you even get better credit, you can go buy more things. Credit in some cases equals more debt. Mm-hmm. And debt ain't your friend. I don't care what nobody tells you. Unless you have 5,000 acres. Yeah, unless you got 5,000 acres, some land, some property, and some other stuff. Is there anything else they should know about history even? Like, How do you build a good history? What's a good history look like? Both good and bad.
I think the biggest thing to know about history is that it repeats itself. And that's what these banks look at, that's what these creditors look at the end of the day. They want to know that, okay, you paid off a car, you pay your rent on time, you've been in the same place for a long time, you're very stable, right? They're going to go based off of what you've done in the past. And so that's what's so tough about credit is that, a lot of that stuff, that negative stuff, you could have been in a completely different situation 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. You know what I mean? But that history is still staying with you, and that history stays on your report for 7 years. So you could be an entirely different person. If you're a felon for 7 years. That doesn't mean you are who you were when you came out, right? There's a lot of people that can make big steps, big leaps, big strides, right? And so it's the same situation with your credit report. 7 years, those mistakes affect you. Those late payments, those charge-offs, those collections, you know what I mean? It feels like, yeah, I can pay it later, I can take care of it later. 7 years, that's gonna affect you. So history repeats itself. The banks wanna look at, hey, recently, have you been doing what you're supposed to be doing? And that's the biggest thing. The sooner you can start to make that change, the sooner you can get yourself into a better position to leverage yourself and really be able to take advantage of the system that, that our country has in place.
There you go. Anything else you want to add, my man?
No, she pretty much hit everything right on the head, like always, per usual.
Yeah, guys, so again, we're going to drop some more stuff here. I would tell you, if you are starting in the dog space, do not get a credit line, a credit card. Don't get with nobody who's saying, I'm going to give you the credit even. If you do this, people are like, hey, man, I just want to do a little breeding with you, man. I'll give you all the credit. I'm like, my man, I build credit with work. I don't need anyone's credit. I need good dogs so that we can do good things. And that's a game of patience, which unfortunately in this space and many things people don't have. But let me tell you something, you can ruin your life in an instance all because you lacked education, understanding, and even worse, in my opinion, you didn't have a plan. So we will be talking about budgeting, managing your finances, making good choices financially, how to take care of your dog, and how it all aligns and comes together. I think credit, in my opinion, is very important. I'm here with them also because where I have the money, I don't have any rental history. I'm not existed for 5 years. Probably about 8 years. I just got a bank account again after 2 years. 2 years ago is when I started building one of the other businesses. I was like, yo, I got to get back legal on everything because I've been hustling for so long. So at anywho, I too have a decent truth to share, and we're going to work together to fix as much as we can and improve everything. And I believe you're going to see a lot more of them. Just in general, you want to follow Offer Credit Solutions on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube even. This stuff is going to continue to transfer and translate. I'm a dog man who understands the importance of doing good business, as you guys have probably learned. And we want to continue to promote being good to people who buy dogs. They got a dog from me. And I will tell you this, I normally don't do payment things, but I saw his love and affinity for the dogs. And so I said, he's good. I didn't know him. I've got a good judge of character like that. So I told them, she's a dog who needs the attention. She needs her people. She needs to get familiar with her pack, your house, whatever you got going on, come get her. And I never hit them up. Hey man, where's the money? Such and such. I'm like, they'll get it to me whenever. Because again, I need the dogs. The money will come at the end of the day. It'll come. Even if we did the first breed and I just kept whatever's left, and I'll be honest, I had no clue. As I told, I have no clue. Even if they paid up, it's good. It's good for now. Either way it goes, it's good now. But they are good people, and I could run that. What he calls them plays. See, I'm not used to. He says, man, we're gonna run that play. We're gonna run that play, and just deal with the stuff when we get there. And she turned out like I thought she would. But as I said before, now because of some other choices people have made, unfortunately, with our last litter, that money's due up front. I'll hold on to it in case anything goes wrong. But if you don't have your money buying one of our pups moving forward, good luck. There's over 1,000+ people on our waiting list. I've literally given you a plan to save so you can buy our dogs. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about the price. It's already cheap in comparison to what the average bully sells for, but credit don't matter in this case, but your credit does matter when it comes to person. I appreciate your Marcus's help. That's just why I put Junior in his hands. I appreciate them taking care of Lola. I appreciate them taking time to educate you guys and myself. Man, I've learned so much just in the past hour from his people and him breaking some stuff down and stuff Cat shared as well. So stay tuned, take care of your dogs, and take care of your credit too.